Hello and welcome to Camp Xbox, where we talk about all things Xbox from the original to the Series X, and today we're actually talking about a game that's playable on the Xbox One and Series X, and that's Powerslave Exhumed, which came out early last year, February 10th, 2022. Powerslave Exhumed is actually a remake of a first-person shooter that came out on the Sega Saturn, PlayStation, and DOS. Powerslave is sort of a cult classic. It's a Doom-like where it plays a lot like Doom, but mixed with a 3D Metroidvania game. It's actually really interesting, and no wonder that it has stood the test of time in order to get a modern-day remake, because this is a hard game to find. Nightdive Studios picked it up, and they're really well known for making remakes of older games, and I'm really happy they did, because this is a game I've always wanted to play, but just never got a chance to play it. So I picked this one up on sale, and I was super excited to get into it, and what I got is an excellent Doom-styled first-person shooter. In this game, you actually crash land in Egypt, and there's a bunch of insectoid aliens trying to take over. They gain control of a lot of the enemies there, like scorpions and mummies, but they're also trying to resurrect King Ramses, who's actually helping you, the player, so that he can gain power and you can make it home. And in this game, there are multiple different areas you have to visit and collect items for in order for this to happen. And it's set up a lot like a Metroidvania. You are going to have to go to areas, pick up that item, and it's going to unlock areas for you in older areas so you can unlock those and find new places on the overworld map. It's huge and interconnected, and a lot of these power-ups you get are great. You get stuff that can make you jump higher and even breathe underwater, allowing for a lot more exploration. I think what makes this game feel so fresh over a lot of games of this style of shooter is that loss of linearity. It feels like an early prototype for those 3D Metroid games. You can take certain elevators and go to different levels, and there's so much in these levels, but they feel so tight. Never once did I get lost in a level. I understood its map and understood where I needed to go. You can beat this game in about 6 hours, and that's a perfect length for a game like this. Something about backtracking once you get past like the 8-hour point can get a little tiring. I've seen these places over and over and over again. But at about 6 hours, it allows for more aha moments and no tiring, oh I have to do this all over again thing. One gripe I do have about this, though, is that I understand in Metroid-style games, when you go back, you usually have to kill a lot of the enemies again. They do respawn, and they do that here, but you also have to recollect power-ups in each level, so you have to recollect key cards and stuff like that to get through doors, and I think that's a bit tiring. You do eventually learn these levels well enough to where you can pick those up pretty fast, but I feel like it's an unneeded extra little thing. Other than that, though, I think this game feels great to explore, and I love the depth of a lot of these different levels. Also, gameplay-wise, this game plays wonderfully. It plays a lot like Doom, of course, where you have guns and you shoot, and it feels great, but I'm talking mostly about the movement in this game. It's very fluid, and jumps feel so smooth, and they're huge. There's something about jumping around these levels, platforming, that just feels like so much fun. I could do it over and over again. Everything moves so fast whenever you're racing through these levels, and it never gets tiring. It is one of those games where honestly you beat it and it's like, oh, I could do that all over again. Graphics-wise, I think it really looks good for its time. For this style of game, I think the platforming looks really good, and a lot of the enemies are nice. There isn't a crazy variety in enemies, but I think what's here, it's pretty good. I feel like we don't explore enough Egyptian worlds in gaming, so I think that helps this become a bit more of a fresh experience nowadays. And I think the music here really stands out. It has some really upbeat Egyptian drum type music that I think is a lot of fun, but I actually really love the ambient tracks here. I think those are a true mood setter. And I think maybe brings in a little bit more of the horror element that this game wants to have. And there's some really standout tracks here that I've listened to after I've beaten this game. So overall, I would say that this game meets you somewhere between a Doom game and Metroid Prime, and if that sounds like a neat mix to you, I would highly recommend this game, especially if you love old school first-person shooters. I think Nightdive knocked it out of the park with this one and helped bring a hidden gem into the forefront and made it easy to play on modern consoles. So if you enjoyed this review, please leave a like and subscribe if you'd love to see more content. Also, leave a comment below if you've ever played this game or if you think it looks interesting. I'd love to hear from you. But I'll see you here next time at Camp Xbox.